Hello and good morning, everybody. It's our first day back from being gone for like a week. I don't know. I worked the entire time. It was crazy. Black Friday, always super busy. So if you guys ever get into retail later on, just prepare yourself for that. But good stuff. As you can see, I'm in my home. We're learning remotely for everybody. So it doesn't, it has its pluses and minuses. I'd much rather be in person and have everything normal with you all, of course, but it is what it is. And there are some workplace hazards for myself personally. If you can see, little Emmett here is trying to basically sleep on my keyboard while I'm trying to type. So he's tired because he kept me up all night. We put up our Christmas tree and he broke a little icicle off that's made of glass and then like shattered it. And we were worried that he was going to eat some of that, and that would have been a messy situation, obviously. So yeah, I'm very tired. I'm on my second cup of coffee, but we're ready to roll. So everyone, before we hop into what we're doing this week, I kind of want to have a quick chat about our time together for the next 3 weeks because I want something from you, and I'm also going to like hopefully give you something in return. So I made a slide here. It's fancy. I'm going to try to move my little picture out of the way. So welcome to a new unit. We're in a brand new unit. We are done with geography, um, and we are moving on to ancient Western civilizations. So that's Inca, Aztec, and Maya. And the way we're going to introduce that is actually kind of cool. It ties into geography, which is I think is pretty neat. So I think you'll like the lesson this week. But I made some bullet points here I want you to kind of focus on, and here's a map of our time together. So today is the first. Hopefully you're watching this on the first day. If not, it's all good. Catch up. We have 3 weeks. That's it. And then our time together is done. And your grades for this quarter will be finalized as well. So I don't want you to stress about that. Okay. So what I want you to do is keep in mind we have 3 weeks left, right? That's the first bullet point. Semester grades. So your grades for the quarter, we call it semester, but for the quarter for my class and our time together is due on the 18th. So I want to avoid a couple things. I want to avoid you guys like forgetting that and maybe getting stuff in late when you didn't mean to. I want you to avoid doing more work than you need to. And I want you to give yourself the best chance to get the best possible grade, right? Remember, you guys are kind of familiar with me a little bit. Like, I'm going to give you what you need to get a good grade, but you do have to do the work. And if you get stuck, you have to ask me ahead of time. So something I noticed is I was getting stuff handed in all through break from a whole bunch of students from geography, even though I kind of said, hey, don't do that because I can't count it. Once you do that assessment, which we all did on the last Friday or Thursday of the week, right? I can't accept any new work. So you guys were working even though you didn't have to, right? Or like I said, worse yet, you were handing in stuff blank, which I actually like really don't like. So just don't hand it in if you're not busy or if you haven't done it. So looking at the calendar here, right? We have this week, we have next week, and with the following week. This week we're going to talk about the Bering Strait or Beringia. We're going to talk about that. It's interesting stuff. It kind of is how the ancient civilizations got to where they are. Next week we talk about those three civilizations, and then towards the end of the week we start a whole new project thing called a DBQ, a document-based question, and then we finish that on this week. I will explain that next week. It's nothing to worry about now. It's a lot of fun. My in-person kiddos last quarter absolutely loved it because we got to have a debate and stuff, which we will do on this one. But remember, just focus on this week. So any work handed in after the 16th will not be counted. So I'm trying to set you guys up for nothing to stress out about, right? But don't work harder than you need to, right? Do the work as we go. Keep on the schedule that we have in the roadmaps, and you're going to be fine, right? I do that to help you be less stressed. But if you let yourself get behind, then it's stressful, right? So don't do that. If you hand anything in after the 16th, I can't count it. So try to keep up ahead of time. And if you miss a couple things, don't fret, but also don't stay up till midnight on the 17th trying to cram a bunch of stuff in because I'm not going to count it. I can't. It's one of our things. So as I see here, focus, stick to the schedule, and do your best. Everybody give me 3 weeks. That's it. 3 weeks. That's 12 days of school. For a lot of you, that's like half the time, right? Like, because you're not with me every day. That's not bad. right? Just do your best on those times and we're going to be okay. So I hope this kind of makes sense. I want to lay out kind of the schedule going forward. This week, we're talking about the Bering Strait. Interesting stuff. Simple. If you stay on top of it, you'll be all right. And then you'll be 1 week down already. So let's talk about Beringia or Beringa or Beringia. I don't know, however you want to say it. Here's our roadmap. Yes, that is Emmett's, my helpful ornament destroyer. If anyone wants a cat, let me know. Anyways, yeah, so here's your roadmap as you're kind of familiar with before. Obviously the week 5 layout, instructions, which you should all be familiar with. And then I did this as well. So if you look here, you know, today, sorry, you have 3 things, even though the video is one of them, so you're already halfway done with one, whatever. If you look again, every day has 2 items. That's it, right? So that is there for you as a suggestion, yes, but a way to kind of keep you on track. Because what I see is a lot of students like start cramming a bunch of stuff and like handing it in all at once at the end. That's stressful for you. Honestly, that's stressful for me seeing all those emails come in. Like, I'm like, you're working too hard. Like, separate it out, right? Today, you're doing the video. You're going to annotate articles on Cami, which I'm going to show you here in a second, and you're going to do a map analysis. That's it, right? So just follow the roadmap, follow the activity list. Only do what you're supposed to do. If you want to get a little bit ahead, that's fine, but use this to not fall behind. All right, so video 1, I'm actually going to attach at the end of this video. So like this video will be kind of a little bit longer. I'll let you know when the clear stop is for you to fill in these notes, okay? So we'll do that together here in a minute. I'm going to show you how to annotate articles on Cami towards the end of this as well. You have the Beringia map analysis, right? So that's all built-in slides. Again, most of the stuff is in the slideshow, so you don't have to go looking for it elsewhere unless it tells you. Okay, here's a map of Beringia to use for that. You can do a comic strip, which is going to be awesome. So answer the next 6 questions about Beringia: who, what, where, when, why, and how. I always forget one of those when I try and do that without writing it down. Use the article that you annotate to help you, so the one that you're going to do on Cami. And on the next 6 slides, you will answer one of the questions, include a picture. So you're going to use Google Images that you like, and like find an image that you think demonstrates your answer to do kind of a comic strip. So who is the event about? Beringia, right? What is the event? Where did the event occur? When did the event occur? And why did the event occur? So you're going to type in your sentence of like kind of summarizing what we're talking about here, and then find a Google image that like kind of puts it to a picture to your words, if that makes sense. And then how, of course. All right, race. This is a should do. Remember race, look it up if you don't remember it, but it's a way to kind of write responses. So there you go. So it's, you know, a way to kind of make your writing make more sense. So hopefully you should know that. If not, ask Ms. Herrera, she'll help you out. So this is a should do. Don't have to, but it will help you big time if you do it. I count it as extra credit, right? Answer the following question in race. Why is the Beringia land bridge significant? And then give me an answer in race. So Neolithic age, cause and effect. Neolithic age, ooh, fancy. We'll talk about that in the video here in a minute. So on the left are a list of events. On the right, I want you to put them in order, in chronological order. So chronological, chrono is the old term for clock or time. So I want you to put these in the order of when they happened. So if I were to summarize the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right, and they were all jumbled, well, Infinity War wasn't the first thing that happened, right? Technically, the first thing that happened is Captain America got like made, and then you have Iron Man, and then you have Thor, and then you have like, I would put them in order leading up to Infinity War, right? You're doing the same thing here, but with the Neolithic age, and you'll be able to get that information from the articles and from my video with you. Okay, last race is why did communities stop migrating during the Neolithic age? Again, if you watch the videos, you're going to have that answer. You're going to be ready to go. So make sure you use race to do that. Miss Lorenz took care of video number 2 for us. So you're going to see that in the roadmap. And, you know, everything you need right there is going to be in that video. So hope you enjoyed that. That's later down the week. All right. Element of civilization matching. So on the left column, there is one example of each element of civilization, right? We kind of talked about like what makes a civilization a civilization. In the right, you're going to type the correct element next to the corresponding number. So look at what it is on the left. You're going to type in the correct element on the right. And again, you will get that from video 2. Okay, partner feedback. So if you find a partner for, and this is like an inspired, you don't have to do this, but if you want to, it's like some like kudos for you, right? You can make a copy and share that comic strip with someone else, and you can guys give each other some feedback here, and that would be really cool, and hopefully it's constructive and helping each other, be better. And then doing that and submitting that will get you some extra credit, so why not, right? Already did the work, and then here's the last part of that. And then a mastery check. That's it, right? So mastery check, again, don't do that until you're done with everything, because like it all leads to that, so you will do better on that if you do all the stuff. So there you go. All right, so at this point, we are done with the instructional video. You can stop this or pause it or come back to it. We're now going to do video number 1 for your notes. So head back to, all the way back to the video 1, right? So there's some terms we're going to go over. And where was the land bridge? You're going to type in the answer there, and I'm going to give you the stuff you need for that right now. Emmett, cat, kittens. Can you hear him? He's just like going off. Cats, am I right? Anyways, so yes, we're talking about Beringia is what I'm going to call it from here on out, and Neolithic age, fancy. So again, this is for your notes and everything, so you can start here. So the Beringia is known as the Bering Strait. So if you were to go to look at a normal map, you would see that there's a little spot of land right here where my mouse is, and there's a little bit of water that separates that. That's not quite like a big ocean, but like a little bit of water. They call that the Bering Strait, and it comes from Beringia, right? So the Ice Age, right? Everyone see the movie with the little squirrel that tries to get the little acorn the whole time? Good stuff. If you haven't, go watch that. That's your homework. But the Ice Age, of course, is an extended period in which the Earth experiences colder temperatures, resulting in more glaciers, which are like big solid chunks of ice that are there for thousands of years, and larger ice sheets. I think that's one of the notes that you need to put on this other slide. Maybe pause this and find out. I don't know, giving you a hint here. So yeah, the Ice Age is a thing that happened, right? Where a lot of the Earth was very, very cold and people had to move to survive, but also created some interesting things. So if you look over here, this is supposed to be separated by water, right? But it doesn't really look like it now, right? We know when water freezes, it expands, right? It kind of like almost soaks up. That's why you're not supposed to put like a water bottle like this in the fridge. Go Metro State University Roadrunners. But if I were to freeze this, it would probably shatter, right? Because the water would expand. It's almost like a sponge. So if a bunch of water is freezing and expanding, the sea level lowers, and that might, I don't know, show some land that wasn't there to begin with, right? So it kind of exposes some land that was under the ocean, and that's kind of what we have here. It's a land bridge that got formed between Russia and Alaska up here. Right here is what we're talking about. So this is obviously North America. This is Russia. There's water here normally, but if this is all frozen, not only does that land get exposed, but also it leads to if it's just frozen, you can just walk across it, right? Right there is what we're talking about. So why are we talking about this, Mr. Jones? It seems kind of random. Well, depending on how you think about it, I'm going to go back a couple slides. If you believe in creation, so if you believe in a God or gods that created everybody, and that's why we're here, okay? When God did that, it started with 2 people, right? If you believe that. And they started somewhere here in the Middle East, kind of like Jordan, Israel, kind of that's where Jesus is said to be from, right? Like over here, right? So if you believe in creation, that's where it started, right? That's where people started. Did God sprinkle millions of people around the earth? No, it started with 2 people, right? If you believe in evolution, right, the Big Bang and all that stuff, then still it started from 1 or 2 people, right, that started spreading the human race and stuff. And they believe that those people started here in Africa. So either way, no matter if you believe in the science or the spiritual aspect of it, people started in Africa. How did they get here? When we talk about ancient Western civilizations, when we talk about Inca, Aztecs, Mayas, they're all over here in North America, right? They're our neighbors, right, to the south a little bit. Some of you might even have blood in your veins from those ancient Western civilizations. How cool is that? But how did they get there? They crossed all this way and down. And they could not have done that without Beringia, right? No matter which way you believe. Interesting stuff. And we call that movement migration. Like when birds, like all the Canadian geese are just like pooping all over my driveway and upsetting me to no end during the summer. Thanks, geese. It's like hard to wash off the hose. I don't know. Anyways, they hang out here until it gets cold. Then what do? They go south. They go further south because it's warmer there. We call that migration. Well, humans migrated as well. I think this is another vocab word, by the way, just a hit. It's a movement of people or animals from one place to another, right? So you have this, all of a sudden, this land bridge here that allows people to move from Africa and Asia into North America and really start to spread around. That's how we get Native Americans. Right here in Mexico, that's how we get the Aztec. The Maya is a little bit southern of Mexico, and then the Inca is here in South America. That's how they get there. They migrated, and they had to do that for a reason. Let's talk about it. The Neolithic Age. Sorry, I felt like I had to do a deep voice for that. The Neolithic Age is, like there's the Ice Age and like the Stone Age and the Bronze Age. Like we just have ages to like classify like a big chunk of time for the human race. The Neolithic Age is interesting. So I'm going to do my best to not talk for 45 minutes to you all and bore you to sleep at your desk right now, because I could totally do that about this right now. But we have the Stone Age, right? So, like people using stones and like kind of working with that. And it was fine, I guess. It made big clubs. Everyone's seen The Croods. Please don't watch that movie. It's terrible. No apologies if you didn't like or if you like that movie. But they would hunt, right? They would hunt for their food. And so if you think about it, all day, every day, your number one concern, your only concern, is where your next food is going to come from, right? Like, I need to go hunt. I need to go kill that saber-toothed tiger because that is my food. And if I don't, I starve to death and I'm dead. That's it. You can walk up to the ye old McDonald's and buy a saber-toothed McRib, right? That didn't exist. That sounds delicious, by the way. I'm hungry. But you were constantly hunting, right? So around the time that this migration is happening, that these people are moving over to North America, they start to find out about crops, like, hey, corn and tomatoes and like all these different crops that like we can just grow in the ground. Like, we're no longer having to hunt 24/7 just to get a little bit of meat. We could stop, plow the land, as you can see in the image here, plant food and have it just grow here. But that also means you kind of have to stay put, right? You can't like plant a bunch of seeds and then walk 500 miles down the road. Like, you're not gonna be able to see that. So this is around the time we as a human race started to figure out we can grow some food and hunt some food. And that changes things, doesn't it, right? So the agricultural revolution is what we're talking about. Agriculture means farming, right? Another vocab word for you. So go back to your notes if you need to. It's a period of increased crop productivity as humans transition to farming. So these people, these ancient Western civilizations, the people that founded these, they were running out of food. They were in Africa and Asia and those places. And like, once you get a population too big, that everyone's hunting for food, does that mean everyone gets to eat? No, you're going to start running out of food, right? So they started to migrate. They started to move, searching for more food source. They started following their food source. If the woolly mammoth is getting extinct or getting hunted down and you know that there's some more up north, you're going to go up north to find that food, right? So they did that. They kind of went up north, followed it over and down into the United States. And around that time, this agricultural revolution was taking place. So they started to figure out we can stay put, farm some food, we can start growing some crops and do some hunting. Now think about it. A couple hundred years ago, your ancestors are just worried about nonstop hunting for their food. If you didn't catch anything that day, you go hungry. That's kind of a bummer, and you die eventually, right? You need to eat food. But now, if you live back then, you're starting to grow your food a little bit. Are you that worried about food? Like, sure, you want your crops to do well, but like, are you having to worry all day, every day about it? Not really. And now all of a sudden, you have time. And that was a big thing, everybody. Time is a resource. And time, in this case, allows you to do other stuff than worried about food. So if you think about art, buildings, plays, movies, video games, these amazing things, right? You can't do those if you're worried about food all the time, if you're having to hunt all day, every day, right? So now that you have some time on your hands, people can start getting creative and start creating art and creating better tools to hunt, better tools to farm, better tools to hunt kitties. Sorry, Emmett. So that is something that really changes the human race up until that point. We started having time to do different things other than just where's my food going to come from. Emmett just changed the slide. That was perfect. I don't know if you guys saw that. His butt's right here. Anyways, he said on the keyboard it changed it right when I was going to. That growing the food creates a surplus. And that is another vocab word. Go back and write it down if you need to. Surplus means the amount of something that is left over after demands have been met, or more than enough of something. So, yeah, basically, if you grow a ton of food and you don't need to eat it all, you can store some for later, right? You can start storing food and then eat it as you need it. So if you guys have seen like those big silos, those big like tubes, like they're typically like white or silver around Brighton, those are silos, and those are typically filled with food like corn and stuff like that that we don't need to eat right now, but we're stashing just in case, right? Because what happens if you have a couple bad years of growing food and you didn't save anything? You're going to go hungry. Whereas people start figuring out, let's grow extra now, store it, and that way we don't have to even worry about later. So that's surplus. That's what starts to change. If you look in this image, right? So look back, right? People kind of using oxen and stuff. Do you see any buildings in the back? No, because they're just figuring out how to grow this food. And now that they have time and they're storing the food, look at their clothing. Their clothing is more advanced. They're starting to have different like decorations, right? They're starting to have different style. Their buildings are becoming more sophisticated, and they're able to build because they're not always on the move, right? This is a huge deal for the human race, right? They're able to finally start to settle down and use this time to grow some stuff. I know I've been blabbing on way too long. You guys are awesome. Thanks for sticking with me. That is it for the notes. So make sure you got all those notes in your slide deck there. To finish, I'm going to talk to you about Cami. I think you all have done Cami with me before. If not, no worries. I'll show you how to do it here. But there's a document in Google Classroom that make sure you read it, right? That's why it's there. So you can read it at your own pace to tell you how to use Cami, how to get Cami like on your Chromebook and ready. But what Cami is awesome, by the way, because Cami will let you like mark up, draw on, highlight, comment on any document on your Chromebook. That's very handy if you are doing work for another class or my class and you want to I want to make sure I highlight this part so I remember that for the test or whatever. This will let you do that. So follow those directions on the slide, like on the Google Classroom. It's going to be in classwork and it's going to say, the Cami instructions. Because if you say, Mr. Jones, I need help, I don't know how to do this, and you didn't read that, oof, it's there to help you. If you tried it and it doesn't work, then let me know. I'm here to help. So once you get Cami up and running, one of the things you're going to do today is you're going to annotate this article. What annotate means is you're going to make it yours. You're going to highlight some stuff and comment on some things, and you're going to make it to where you read this once, you get all the information in your head, but then you mark it up, the important stuff, so you don't have to necessarily read it again. That's the whole point of doing that. You're going to do that all through your student career. The better you get at it now, the more it's going to help you work kind of smarter in the future. So I want you to read the article. It kind of explains everything we went over, right? And as you do it, use Cami. So this is my Cami setup. You'll have the same thing. And notice I can mark up, I can highlight, I can comment, right? I can put a text box. And so Miss Lorenz actually already marked this one. So as she was reading it, she went down and down and down. She was like, okay, this is pretty neat. But she was like, this right here, this sentence is something I should probably remember. For a long time, this land called the Bering Land Bridge connected Asia and Alaska. I should probably remember that. So I'm going to go to markup, text highlighter. I'm going to do the yellow because I'm like that. And bam. Now I've highlighted, right? So if I need to come back in here for a quick note, do I have to reread the whole thing? No. it's right there, right? Make some connections as well. So if you say, you know what, I think it's important that I remember that these people were hunters, I can actually comment on that as well. So I can click on this and say something that connected to me. Like my connection is that hunting took up way too much time. Right? Hunting's fun for probably like a year or two, but if you're doing it your whole life, that's a lot of stress, right? So I can put a note here to myself that this sentence right here is important, and all I did was hit comment and go. So I want you to do that, right? Read the whole thing once, get the information, but then make it easier on yourself, right? Work smart, not hard. Mark up the stuff you think is important, the connections you made with the text, do it as you go, and then you don't have to read the whole thing, right? If we need to come back and look at this, you can just look at the comments and the highlights you made, and you're good to go. Everyone, wow, I think I talked way too long. I apologize. Hope you had fun. Thankfully, it's a video, so you can just like pause me, go get your coffee, come back, good to go, whatever you need to do. But I appreciate your time and you're working hard. Remember, focus. Do what you need to do on the days that you're doing it. Stay on top of it. You will have fun with my class, and you'll be stress-free, and you'll get a good grade, and we're all happy and good to go into the Christmas break, the holiday break, okay? Everyone, I will see you in class, of course. Let me know if you have any questions. Enjoy the work, and I will see you later. Bye.